Let's talk about the power of the purse very briefly. So, the more and more I think about this, and the more I just talk to other people and talk to artificial intelligence, it just infuriates me that the government has monopolies on so many things because they have the power to print money. They have the power to essentially say, if you don't hand us your money, the money that you make from your business, the money that you make in income, then we're going to do bad things to you. It's really disgusting. It's really disgusting what people put up with these days, that they wouldn't have 150 years ago, let's say. Um, you know, the amount of power that the money brings is astounding because it's the universal form of trade. Now, back in the day, it was precious metals, gold, silver, platinum, what have you. And there was a finite amount of that out there. The government just couldn't print this out of thin air. Now, when I say print, I'm also talking about digital transactions, not just the physical, fiat currency being printed. I'm talking about just them making money out of thin air. They have the power to do that. And it's why our dollars that are in our pockets right now and in our bank accounts are worth less and less every day. Something like $1 trillion has been printed every 6 months. Might be more than that, but I'm just saying, like in recent years, the government's national debt, the United States government's national debt, has increased to ridiculous amounts. And you have to understand that what does somebody want? What does a manufacturer want? What does somebody who works for a manufacturer want? When I'm talking about manufacturers, I'm talking about weapons, okay? The title of this video is Money and Weapons, because those are the two biggest things that significantly affect the power dynamic between the people and the government. Now, back in the day, the people could make their own stuff, and they still can, but it's a skill people don't have, like blacksmithing is a skill that a lot of people don't have. Plus, to get those resources, you can't just go to a mine and get some iron ore. You know what I mean? Like that's how things were back in the day. Now you gotta get this fiat currency that the government prints. And again, because they have the power to print it, you and I can't make our own money. If we could absolutely achieve a lot more goals than we currently can. So again, this power is significant because if they are the ones making the money, right? And then they get these government contracts, whatever they are. They could be defense contracts, they could be real estate development contracts, whatever. So our money from taxes, right? So our tax dollars and the printing of the money is then given to these companies and organizations, and then that money is funneled back into the politicians' pockets so that they can then promote their names and get reelected, supposedly, or elected to begin with. So it's all in the same system. And when you really just start thinking about it, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. And I'm gonna make a separate video about this, but there was a guy, I believe he was 24 years old at the time, named David Linthicum, and I'm probably pronouncing his last name wrong, but anyway, the police showed up and confronted him, and he shot at the cops. And look, I'm not saying it was a good thing, but if I go and confront police officers and say, "Hey, I'm going to put you in handcuffs," you know, what do you think that cop's going to do? What do you think that cop's going to do? He's going to draw, or she, they're going to draw their weapon and aim it at me. Okay? And they might fire it at me if I get too close. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a person's natural instinct to not want to be kidnapped. It's a person's natural instinct to not want to be put in handcuffs, and to think negatively about people who resist arrest or, use whatever means possible to stop other human beings from kidnapping them and putting them in a binding. Can we really fault people? I'm just saying, when you sign up to be a cop, that's what you're not dealing with the nicest people in the world. and you should probably expect that people aren't just going to peacefully comply every single time. And in fact, I would say more than half the time you're going to be dealing with a struggle. Um, so my point with that is the police, through our tax money, are given service. They call them service weapons, which usually means handguns, rifles, what have you, shotguns sometimes. They also have non-lethal stuff. But the bottom line is our money is then used to give to people who then can potentially violate our rights. So, like I said, when you really start thinking about all this stuff, it really starts to piss you off. And you're just like, you know what? I just want to move to an island and be left alone. An island with an internet connection and some medical supplies. But in all seriousness, um, this country's fucked up right now. It is. And there's nothing I can single-handedly do anything about it. I tried to become the county executive, but unfortunately, again, I told you about the money being circulated, and here's what I'm going to do though, because you know what, I could take this lying down and say, you know what, let me wipe my hands of it and forget about it. Nah. Baltimore Informer, we're going to put an in-depth article out about Johnny Olszewski going back at the earliest dates I can find. Every single person that Johnny Olszewski Jr. got campaign contributions from, I'm going to expose. The public information's out there. I want to know who has been funding this guy all these years. I want to know because now he's in Congress and he's going to be in Congress for a long time, more than likely. And he's a representative of my area. And I want to know who this guy has made deals with publicly. Obviously, I don't know his private deals, you know what I mean? But his public deals, we can all see. And I think that the people have a right to know this. And most people aren't going to sit there and go through all these different campaign finance forms and fish this information out. So, again, it's up to somebody like myself, because you think WBAL is going to do that? You think WJZ is going to do that? You think WMAR? Maybe Fox 45, WBFF 45 might, but all the other ones, nah. So, Baltimore Brew, by the way, great website, great news organization. So we're going to do a little independent media consortium kind of deal. We're still all going to remain independent, but I think coming together and syndicating our stories, I think, is the way to go in the future, because these mainstream outlets can no longer be trusted.